Right. What is next for Conor Benn after his win against Chris Eubank Jr. 12 round unanimous decision, dropping him twice in the 12th round? What's next for him, ladies and gentlemen? I think Conor Benn is in a very lucrative spot in his career, really. Um, Lots of options if he wants to go down to welterweight. I'm trying to put up the rankings right now. But yeah, if he wants to go down to welterweight, I think there's a lot of options. There are options for him at 154 pounds. Should he go down to 154 pounds? Fuck no. Like, I'd kill yourself to make that fucking 147 pound fucking weight limit. If you're Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn, right? He's at his peak commercially. Like, this is the most Conor Benn is ever going to be worth commercially, right? You got some fucking killers at 154 pounds that are probably licking their lips at a chance of getting a big commercial showdown against Conor Benn, because nothing in that Eubank Jr. fight showed me he's world class. Not a thing. You can say, "Oh, you beat him. Look at the way in which you beat him." Weight drained Eubank Jr. doesn't get credit for me. I don't give him credit for that win. Why the fuck would I give him credit for that win? Do you know what I mean? Weight drained Chris Eubank Jr., who's fringe world level. A win against Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't show me your world level. Anyway, he's fringe at best. He's like fringe world level. Because Chris Eubank Jr.'s never actually proved he's world level. Right? He's beat fucking Arthur Abraham, who was shot, James Gale, who was shot. Like, he's beat some shot fighters who, sure, probably still have ability and know-how at that point in their career, but yeah, like, him himself hadn't proved himself all too much. But getting into the options, one that's been predominantly mentioned is Mario Barrios. I think Benn wins that fight. I think you just have too much tenacity for Mario Barrios. Barrios fights weirdly, man. It's like he fights kind of within himself. He's got a good jab. He's overall pretty decent, but I think Conor Benn would just outwork him in that. Brian Norman Jr., Ben would give him more trouble than a lot of people say, because he's got slow feet. But I think Brian Norman would beat him. Rory Romero's shown a shit ton of improvements. It's crazy that he's a champion, but he's shown a lot of improvements. I'd favour Rory Romero, if I'm being completely honest with you. He showed some good patience in that, good patience and good timing and counterpunching ability in that Ryan Garcia fight. I think that beats Conor Benn. And we have Lewis Crocker, the RBF champion, who is the worst champion in boxing. Happy for him, but you know what? Lewis Crocker probably gives Conor Benn trouble in moments, but I think I'd give Conor Benn that win. Like I said, too much tenacity. Lewis Crocker looked inactive and negative in that Paddy Donovan fight and really shouldn't even have won it. That's if we're looking at champions. Now, he's number 5 and he's number 4 in the WBC rankings, Conor Benn. He hasn't fought at fucking that weight in about 4 years, genuinely. That's crazy. How the fuck is Conor Benn number 4? The WBC never failed to amaze me. Anyway, Devin Haney, who could beat Brian Norman Jr., that's a fight for him. Sure. I'd probably pick Devin Haney to beat him, just outbox him. Better ring know-how. Keep him behind the jab. Manny Pacquiao, which is a fight I could see. I mean, I'd probably pick Conor Benn. Too much energy, right? Pacquiao's old. Ryan Garcia, which I think is a close fight, but I'd give Ryan Garcia the edge. Maybe they do an all matchroom showdown and do him versus Jack Catterall. Doesn't do much commercially though. They're going to try and maximize Conor Benn commercially, right? Get him as big commercially as possible. Get him a world title. I think in terms of options that are going to happen, most likely, Lewis Crocker's a matchroom fighter. You know what I mean? It's a very easy fight to make. Mario Barrios, who, in credit to him, will fight anyone. That's very likely. Conor Benn's ranked with the WBC. And Ryan Garcia. I think those are the 3 most likely options. If I had to say which one's going to happen, well, it'd be the governing body he's ranked with, right? Mario Barrios. I don't know what they're doing with Mario Barrios, if they're rematching Pacquiao or what, but that's a fight for him. I do like the Ryan Garcia fight. Like I said, if you're thinking about maximizing him commercially, getting him the biggest fight, think Ryan Garcia is probably the biggest fight, right? I know he lost his last one out to Rolly Romero, but people weirdly forgotten about that loss to Rolly Romero, and people will talk about Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barros because they've been hit in the head or something. But because apparently Ryan Garcia just has a world title shot coming off a loss. All right, you know what I mean? He hasn't actually. Oh my god, think about it. If Ryan, sorry, I'm going to get onto a sidetrack. Ryan Garcia gets a world title shot against Mario Barros, WBC, in the 147-pound division. He hasn't got a win at 147 pounds, right? His last two fights was a no contest at 140 pounds, which in which he missed weight, and a loss at 147 pounds. Crazy, crazy world we live in. But yeah, I think Mario Barros will probably happen next. Maybe Lewis Crocker, right? If Mario Barros doesn't happen, they're still going to look to get him a world title shot. It'll be Lewis Crocker because Matchroom. If you're talking about maximizing him commercially and just making a fuck ton of money, Ryan Garcia definitely. Um, say if you wanna put him in at 154 pounds, the champions are Background Murtazalev. He's got a fight against Josh Kelly coming up. I'll give Background Murtazalev a firm edge in that fight. He's a nightmare for Conor Benn. Nightmare matchup. He'll probably back Ben up, which is somewhere Ben does not want to be. Uh, Abbas Barrio, who's a very underrated fighter. I think I butchered his name there, but he's an underrated fighter. That's a 50-50. Trust me, if you know your boxing, that's a 50-50. He'll back Conor Benn up. He'll fight with tenacity. That's a 50-50 fight. And we got Sebastian Fundora, who is awkward for anyone. I don't see Conor Benn having a head movement to kind of close the distance. And get inside on Fundora. And Xander Zayas, who's a good little fighter. In terms of contenders, Jaron Ennis doesn't win that, does he? Keith Thurman. I don't know about Keith Thurman. Might give Keith Thurman the edge, but don't know. Sergey Borychuk, no. Doesn't win that. Doesn't beat Madrimov. Probably beats Lubin, but that's probably a 50-50. Tim Zoo, that's probably a 50-50. Brandon Adams, I think Brandon Adams is really underrated. Callum Walsh, no. It's just not, doesn't really tickle the pickle, does it? It's a good division though. Yeah, but no, he doesn't stand a chance in that division. Mario Barrios, Ryan Garcia, or Lewis Crocker. I think those are likely options. And yeah, that's about all I've got to say. Thank you. Goodbye.